Good morning. I'm Jennifer Palmer, and I'll be your online worship leader today. During the service, we recommend you have your Zoom screen set to speaker view. This is Common Ground, our celebration of worship for people of many paths who are gathering virtually to share in the responsible search for meaning and truth. Pathways is a warm and open community where all who come with open minds and kind hearts are welcome, regardless of ability, age, race, gender identity, or sexual orientation. If you're visiting with us for the first time today, we welcome you to our virtual service and hope you'll visit us in person when we can be together again. Please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. To send us a note about your visit or ask for more information about Pathways, email office@pathwaysuu.org. We hope that all who join us today find this a safe and inspiring online place to worship. Our opening song this morning is hymn number 203, All Creatures of the Earth and Sky. The words for this song are attributed to St. Francis of Assisi. Feel free to sing along as we remain muted or just enjoy listening. As we virtually light our chalice this morning, please join me in these words by Florence Caplow. We light this chalice in honor of the animal realm, furred and hoofed, two-legged, four-legged, many-legged, fanged and clawed, gentle and fierce, wild and tame. May we remember that all animals are our relatives, worthy of our care and respect. I invite you now to join in a renewal of our sacred promises. Please read along with me. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve human need to the end that all souls shall grow in harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other. Our call to worship this morning is from the Buddha Shakyamuni. Life is the root of all qualities. Hence, protecting life is a gift that grants all forms of happiness. Among all forms of generosity, the mental state of wishing to give and protect life is supreme. Among all forms of discipline, the discipline of giving and protecting life is supreme. Our worship song this morning is Bless the Beasts and the Children by the Carpenters.
Bless the beasts and the children, for in this world they have no voice, they have no choice. Bless the beasts and the children, for the world can never be the world they see. Light their way when the darkness surrounds them. Give them love, let it shine all around them. Bless the beasts and the children, give them shelter from a storm, keep them safe, keep them warm. Light their way when the darkness surrounds them. Give them love, let it shine all around them. Bless the beasts and the children, give them shelter from a storm, keep them safe, keep them warm. The children, the children, the children.
Our speaker this morning is the Venerable Tashi Nyima. He has studied under eminent lamas of the Jonang, Nyingma, Sakya, Kagyu, and Gelug lineages of Vajrayana Tibetan Buddhism, and leads the Universal Compassion Buddhist Congregation with sanghas in North and South America. For more than 3 decades, Lama Tashi has shared non-sectarian Dharma teachings in person and through extensive use of social media and virtual platforms, and leads several meditation retreats for animal rights activists throughout the year. He publishes 2 daily Dharma blogs, which Franklin is kind enough to put on the chat, and manages several Buddhist internet groups. Known for his directness, clarity of expression, and sense of humor, Lama Tashi is the author of The Buddha's Bowl, a collection of Buddhist instructions on radical compassion for animals, and the Dharma Handbook, an extensive commentary on a seminal text by Dolpopa Sharib Galtson. He has also published El Cuenco del Buddha and Meditación sin Mitos in the Spanish language. And now we welcome Lama Tashi to our virtual pulpit.
Good morning. May what we're about to do yield favorable results. May it give us the capacity to benefit others. May it help us overcome ignorance and limitation. May it clear away all obstacles on the path. May it lead us to the union of wisdom and compassion. Om Ahum Soha. So good to see you. I think this is my third time coming to Pathways for the blessing of the animals. And I see some of the animals right there. I trust that we'll see more of them when we get to that part. And I wanted to talk today a little bit about the fact that although we think that we bless the animals, more often than not, it's the other way around. Right? About 4 years ago, I met two little beings, Pulo and Precious, two cats that showed up at my back door. And they came in, we made friends, and they have stayed with me ever since. So I refer to them as self-rescues because they rescued themselves, they just showed up. And my life is infinitely richer because they are here. So I wanted us today to perhaps focus a little bit on, yes, we take care of them, we feed them, we make sure that they are safe and sound, but mostly they bless us. Right? And I was thinking about the ways in which they bless us. And the first is that they teach us compassion, not only because we feel it for them, but because we actually can see their compassion, not only in the form of interspecies friendships. You can watch many of those these days on the internet, or foster parenting, which they do constantly, or very long lasting relationships between animals of the same species. Their compassion really knows no bounds, right? The relationships that we have with our companion animals also teach us how to be compassionate and makes us look beyond our needs and imagine those of another who is very different from ourselves, which is a wonderful lesson, right? Compassion is based on being able to understand the feeling of another, empathy, and seeing how we can care for them, and that is compassion. The second way that I wanted to highlight in which animals bless us is by showing us patience, right? We tend to hurry about, but we only care about timeliness because we have agreed to do so, right? It's a conventional thing. Time, as we know it, is really a fabrication. The natural world does not run on the clock, right? It runs according to natural rhythms. And animals do not rush. They take their time to do everything. If you've ever walked your dog waiting for them to do what they're supposed to do, you know that they'll do it when they're ready. Or if you've ever stood at a door, at an open door, waiting for the cat to come in or go out, you also know that they cannot be rushed, right? They know patience. They are at peace with whatever it is that they are doing. They also know how to live in the present, right in the here and now, right? They are able to anticipate future needs, but they don't worry about the future as much as we do. We waste so much time obsessing about what may happen next that we completely forget to enjoy the present moment. So we can all take a tip from our animal companions. Just sit and soak it all in every now and then. Another wonderful blessing we receive from the animals is the blessing of connection. You know that our entire world only thrives when there is balance. And that means that wildlife and all the beings in the world collaborate to ensure that the world continues to exist. Right? If the wolf population increases past carrying capacity, it may cause a population of their prey to drop, and vice versa. And while we humans have resorted to uh, removing ourselves conceptually from a direct participation in our ecosystems at our peril, that does not mean that our actions do not influence other species. On the contrary, right? Looking at the direct connections between animals in the wild and us can teach us that we're not as distant as we might think. Animals also teach us that we humans are not exceptional. We think that we are completely different from other animals, but dolphins call each other by name. Elephants comfort each other when they are upset. Primates, other than humans, use tools. And there are endless other examples that prove that humans are not as different or exceptional as we might think. So we like to believe that our intelligence and ability to feel and understand emotions is unparalleled. But more and more, we're finding that is not the case. If there's ever been a time to reevaluate our relationship with animals, it is now. Another thing we learn from the animals is to respect our elders. In the wild, survival relies on the ability of older generations to impart their knowledge and their skills to younger generations. Elephant herds with older matriarchs have higher survival rates because the elder elephants can recognize the signs of drought or other oncoming natural disasters. Learning from the wisdom of the past is important for humans too, especially now when technology and media are on a rampant. So moving forward and advancing toward innovation may be a wonderful thing, but we should also learn to respect the wisdom, the deep wisdom of those who came before us. Animals also teach us responsibility, right? Living with companion animals instills a deeper understanding of responsibility and accountability for us, and if we have young ones among us, for them as well. Not only do animals teach us to be compassionate, but they also help in our social development because we must interact with them beneficially. When we care for animals in a responsible manner, we can see the direct effect of our actions. So we can begin to associate responsibility for others with positive results, leading to more successful and compassionate lives. Animals also teach us to listen carefully, not only in terms of their ability, most of them hear much better than we do, but they actually pay attention to what they hear in ways that we normally do not, right? We tend to overlook the importance of this ability. Animals sit and listen before they react to situations, something that we certainly can and should learn to do. Animals also live lightly and simply. We honestly don't know how to do that. Look at our garbage production, right? We are the only species that actually produces mounds and mounds of garbage. In the wild, animals learn to live within their means, which for the most part means their natural environment. They don't import things. They don't go out of their way to accumulate things. In fact, they try to stay as simple as possible. They live in tune with the planet and use the resources only as needed. So if we want to learn to be attuned to our surroundings and how to live without causing mass destruction to our environment, we could take a lesson from our animal friends. And the last thing that I wanted to highlight is that animals stick together. They have solidarity. Yes, animals have enemies too, but they deal with it by having each other's back. That is the key to their survival. You know, birds flock, bees swarms, lions have social cliques because it maintains the stability of the ecosystem. Groups of animals are less likely to become victims of predators. While we might not need to worry too much about becoming the meal of a predator, it is also important to learn to be able to set aside differences and work together for our mutual benefit. If we were to learn just these few lessons from our animal friends, we would indeed be blessed by them. So now, as we continue with that part of our program this morning of blessing the animals, let us also contemplate how they bless us in so many ways. Thank you.
Thank you, Lama Tashi. And now I will play our Pathways Pets video while Lama Tashi blesses the pets.
May all be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all embrace happiness and the causes of happiness. May all abide in peace, free from self-grasping. May all attain the union of wisdom and compassion. Om Ahum Soha.
Thank you so much, Lama Tashi. And I know that blessing extended to all the pets who were watching on Zoom today or with their people. And even if they weren't, because I don't know if I got pictures of everybody's pets, but I'm sure that blessing extends to all of the pets. All right, thank you so much. Our virtual chalice extinguishing today is words from the Buddha Shakyamuni. I am a friend of the footless. I am a friend of all bipeds. I am a friend of those with 4 feet. I am a friend of the many-footed. May all creatures, all breathing things, all beings, one and all, without exception, experience good fortune only. May they not fall into any harm. Our closing song for today is hymn number 1031, Filled with Loving Kindness, from a traditional Buddhist meditation.
May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be whole. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we oh, may we be whole.
We hope that each of you on your individual path through the joys and questions of life found some common ground with your fellow travelers today. Our benediction is by Gary Kowalski. We give thanks for the animals who live close to nature, who remind us of the sanctities of birth and death, who do not trouble their lives with foreboding or grief, who let go each moment as it passes and accept each new one as it comes with serenity and grace. Enable us to walk in beauty as they do, at one with the turning seasons, welcoming the sunrise and at peace with sunset. And as we hallow the memory of good friends now departed, who loved abundantly and in their time were loved, who freely gave us their affection and loyalty, let us not be anxious for tomorrow, but ask only that kindness and gratitude fill our hearts, day by day into the passing years. Our thanks to all of you who joined our Zoom service today. Lama Tashi needs to leave now to go lead his regular Sunday Sangha. We thank you again for being here, Lama Tashi. We're so grateful you were able to come speak for us today. Now, everyone feel free to unmute and we can share our favorite pet or animal stories and visit for a bit. The adult groups will start at 11:30. Bye. Thank you again, Tashi.
That's good.
Okay, there we go.
He's always with them.
Oh man, well, I think my favorite pet story is the time my dog jumped out of my car.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was driving home from a vet appointment with him and I had the windows rolled down so he could stick his head out, you know, and I never imagined he would jump out, but I stopped at a red light and all of a sudden I just saw out of the corner of my eye this movement and I could see that he had jumped out of the back window. And as soon as it happened, like the light had turned green and people were starting to go behind me. And so I pulled off to the side of the road and jumped out of my car. It was really unsafe thing to do, but anyway, and I looked back there. I just knew I would see him like flattened, run over by a car. And I looked up and there he was across the street, peeing on a lamppost, just as happy as a clam, like having the time of his life. And so he avoided death twice that day, once because he didn't get run over, and the second time because I didn't strangle him. So
I love that story.
I think I lost about 10 years on my life that day.
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
Yeah, I guess he just saw a lamppost that was just too
Like, I haven't gotten that one yet.
I love that story. I have a new dog. I have a new dog now, but my old dog, Winnie, every once in a while, the gate would be left open and off she would wander. She was a basset hound. And all I had to do was get in the car and go find. She never stepped a foot without stopping to smell. So she didn't get more than 100 yards away. It wasn't much fun walking her because it would take me an hour to walk around the block.
Yeah,
Sweet.
that's how my dog is too.
Of how smart Ava is. When we had Marge's birthday party here a while back, her grandkids were here doing getting everything ready. And we took the dogs for a walk. And I thought, well, guests will be coming shortly. So let's put all the dogs in Craig's house, which is behind our house. So we walked over there, we put all the dogs in the house, shut the door. And I came in to see how Marge's grandkids are doing, and all of a sudden our door opens, and then because it's on a slant, it closed. And Ava just opened it, came in, the door shut behind her. She goes, "You're not leaving me over there. I'm part of this party."
You didn't want to be left out.
No, she opened all doors. So if you wanted to go to the bathroom alone, you had to lock the door.
She was very well behaved.
Long ago, my dad would have a
a handkerchief in his back pocket, and usually there'd be a corner of it hanging out. Well, our dog figured out how to trot up behind him, jump up clear off the floor, grab the handkerchief in her teeth and pull it out. Then she would shake it back and forth a few times to get his attention and run off with it to get him to chase her. He
Oh,
thought that was great fun.
yeah.
We have a cat and she's pretty silent. However, if you go to the bathroom at any time, expect her to come in for her full attention at that moment in time. She wants to be petted, scratched, brushed, you name it. She has figured that one out.
She knows we're in one spot and we can't move.
Well, we trained our dog to, whenever there's something on the floor, that she'd have to drop it and she would get a treat. We used to have our recycling bag on the floor and she would climb into the bag, grab a piece of paper and come out and start jumping up and down to let us know that she had a piece of paper so we could give her a treat.
They are smart.
They are smart. I know that I have a dog named Max and he'll be 11 this year. He's getting old. He's a grumpy old man, but he knows. I can't tell you how many words. All you I have to do is ask him what he wants. I said, "You want to go outside?" If that's what he wants to do. Right now, he said, "Outside." Oh, okay.
I have a
dog. Yeah.
I've always had a dog and animals, not just dogs, all sorts of creatures in my life. And at one point, a number of years ago, I had a golden retriever who was 90 pounds, wonderful. I happened to have a pool in my backyard. And one day I was sipping a gin and tonic on a lawn chair, and I decided to jump in the pool. I jumped in the pool, 90-pound dog
Bail out.
jumped on top of me, and I was drowning. All I could think of as my life was shining before me in my head is, they're going to find my body. They're going to think I was drunk and fell in the pool. They're never going to know my dog killed me.
Well, I guess the dog didn't kill you because you're here now.
Yeah, exactly right. I was able to get out from under.
Picture. Some more coffee. Do you want some more? If there's any more.
That's kind of scary though. For
Yeah.
sure.
I have one.
Okay, go ahead.
Closer. Remember, you have to be right in front of the mic. I'm a unofficial dog finder for mommy, because whenever there's a missing dog, we look for it, and I found Miss Roxy's dog and someone else's dog.
We volunteer for our local senior center. We drive people that are homebound to do activities there. And the first time we went to pick one lady up, her dog had gotten out. And so we took her to lunch, and then we went and found her dog. And then somehow the next week we got another phone call about it. We homeschool, so it's easy because we're home all day and the kids are good at looking while I'm driving. So we've become the unofficial dog catchers for our local community center, which is just funny because I'm not a dog person. I love my cat, but I don't like dogs. I didn't realize how much I loved our dog until we had to drive home in the blizzard. During Winter Uri, we had gone out of town for my birthday, and I was so worried about the kid's dog that I kept calling him on Alexa, because we have an Alexa in our kitchen, and trying to talk to him through the Alexa to make sure he was coming in out of the snow, because I thought he wasn't smart enough to use the doggy door to come inside. And we got home and he was playing in the snow, living his best doggy life. And I cried the whole way home going, "Oh no, what about the dog?" And it was like the best thing ever.
That's awesome.
Well, we're dog people and cat people. We we love, and we also feed 2 or 3 feral cats in the back. it does, it depends. We have one cat that comes in there every once in a while and likes to stir things up with the other two cats. I don't want to see an animal suffer at all. I don't want to see him hungry. I want to see him, so I think the word's gotten around that we feed stray cats. So,
Hey, Stan, I see you, Stan. Where's yours?
I can't figure out how to talk with this. I've got my, I did want to say, I guess, that Kelly and Katie met their first wave on the sand beach near Bar Harbor, and didn't care for it a bit. Ran from it as fast as they could.
And Dwayne, it's nice to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time.
It's better to be seen than viewed.
Indeed.
Charleston and Savannah and in Maine.
Well, glad to have you. Sorry, Stan?
Yeah.
I have a funny story. My daughter when she had graduated from Long Island University, they had lab rats in one of her classes, and they killed them at the end of the class unless somebody takes them home. So anyway, my daughter begged me whether her first lab rat was Matt, and I told her no. So they put them all to sleep. I have no idea how. So anyway, she knew how to work her mother, so she sent me tons of pictures of Spanky, and made me bond with him, and said, "Mom, please, I'm graduating. I just can't stand." And she had me talk to her friends, and they all talked about how smart Spanky was. So I was going to pick her up, and we were going to go on a tour. I mean, all the way from New York across, through 10 states. And so I went and got 2 carriers, a big chinchilla cage, three floors, and a little bitty carry-on. And we snuck this little rat into all the hotels we were staying in. And one day we were in Chicago in a fairly nice, and he was in the little bitty carrier in the bathroom. And I got up to go to the bathroom, and I see the lids off and no Spanky. And so I panicked because here we are in this nice hotel, and he'd never been out except for when they took him out of the cage to do their lab test. So anyway, I woke the girls up and I said, "Y'all got to help me find Spanky." And so we're running around. I open the door. I don't hear any screaming. Of course, it's 3 a.m. And so we're scrambling around looking, and I look at the bottom of the bed, and he's up on his haunches with his little feet looking at me like, "I got out, but I don't know what to do." And so what a relief. I didn't, so I stuck him back in there, and we were a little bit more careful the rest of the way. But anyway, I've always remembered Spanky's adventures in Chicago. So
Spanky's adventures.
Yeah, I bet.
And now we know why your email address is Spanky. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yes, I love that little guy. Who would think you'd fall in love with a rat, but I did.
They euthanized them humanely.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you want me to describe it, but they euthanized them very humanely.
Oh, good. Yeah.
I'm definitely an animal lover, dogs, cats, whatever, with one exception. And that exception is the skunk that keeps thinking that our dog yard is the perfect place for her or him to set up shop. I have had to do, since we have had Chelsea, which is about 3.5 years now, I've had to do skunk treatment on her, I think 4 times.
Oh, gosh.
And I'm very tired of it.
Yes. Oh, my
And we have
gosh.
spent a small fortune trying to seal the property up so the skunk can't get in, but he keeps finding a way.
Oh.
Yeah, that's chemical warfare. My dog's been sprayed a few times too, and whoo, Nelly, that is some stink. Like I've never seen before.
Well, we had a parrot one time, and we got this parrot from the pet shop because we were at the mall, where they used to have pet shops in the mall, and there was this, parrot, and I said like, oh, I'd like to fly to the moon. I said, oh, I've always wanted a parrot. So I came home from work. There's this parrot in the cage that said, I've come to live with you. My name is Charlie. I went, oh, I won't even say what I said. I need to wash my mouth out with soap. This bird, it was just, but anyway, we decided to teach it to talk. And we bought tapes. We'd go home from work and put him on our shoulder and walk around and talk to him. All he would do would be poo down your back. And but he learned to bark because the dog barked at him. So every day when we would go home, we'd hear, "Rah, rah, 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 rah." The dog would be asleep. That parrot would be barking like crazy. So I do not recommend parrots. I'm like, oh my gosh. And they live forever and ever. And this one never learned to do anything but bark. Fortunately, that's what about. And when you go on vacation, who can you ask to come clean a parrot cage? I mean, nobody you care anything about. And so we would call the pet shop, and the couldn't put him near his pets, but he could take him in the back door. So we would heat up the electric blanket, get the car running, put the electric blanket over the cage, run to the car, trying to get the grandmas for Christmas, go to the pet store, knock on the door. He would let us in like we were robbers. And I'm just saying, I love all animals, but don't get a parrot. I mean, it was like, oh my God, but I love the stories, the dog stories.
I grew up with dogs and all kinds, Cocker Spaniels, Labradors. We had actually a Red Heeler, an Anatolian Pyrenees Shepherd mix. I mean, they were all wonderful dogs. And we grew up with geckos and hermit crabs and guinea pigs. And actually, we didn't pay attention one day. The hermit crabs were out running, not really walking. And we actually lost them. They somehow disappeared in the grass. Of all things to lose, these tiny little hermit crabs that don't go very fast or very far. But it was cool having all kinds of different types of animals so our kids could learn about them all.
Mm-hmm. Well, when we were growing up, we grew up on a farm. And so we had cows, calves, goats, baby goats. There's nothing any cuter than a baby goat. And we named all the animals, the goats especially. We love the baby goats. And I remember one time my stepfather sold one of the goats for barbecue, and it just about killed us. They weren't supposed to be selling any goats to be killed, period. But we had it was a good place to grow up on a farm, because you do learn a lot about animals, and you learned about sex from animals,
Speaking of other animals and other creatures, I offer, and I hope many of you have seen this on Netflix, My Teacher, the Octopus.
Oh, yeah.
Because
yes, that was a great documentary.
I have that on my list to watch.
Obviously, our companion animals are ones that
No, my octopus teacher.
But what an amazing creature, and what an amazing relationship this man developed with this octopus.
Octopus, wow.
We tend to like wild animals. My parents had a farm as well when I was younger, and I was always coming home with frogs or rabbits or whatever in my pockets. And I love that my girls are the same way, but they drive me crazy. They like looking for snakes in the yard when I'm out gardening. That's their favorite thing. And I've gotten in trouble because they now have to get the snakes to relocate them, because if I try and do it, Mommy keeps having accidents with shovels because they move and they come after me. And so that's my 7-year-old and my 4-year-old, their favorite thing to do is they look for the snakes under the rocks and everything. And then they, will take them to a safer place in the yard away from
What
for
kind of
Mom.
snakes are these?
Normally just the garden ones. I just joined a snake group so I can properly identify them so that I'm not as freaked out by them, because to me they all look the same. So we've been learning which ones are the good kind and which kinds are the
There
let
are
them
some
have their
bad-
distance kind.
Yeah.